the faster you get to your goal, the big thing that you want to achieve, let's say it's in this case a financial goal, the longer you get to enjoy it the rest of your life. After going through that experience, I was able to essentially condense decades of therapy into a day. More people need to hear about this because we all have things from our past that are holding us back in some way, whether we realize it or not. A lot of the times we don't. Kind of like holding on to a backpack full of bricks and running a marathon our entire life because of all the baggage that we're holding on to that many times we don't even know we have. Running a marathon with that and wondering why we're so exhausted going through life.
Hola y welcome to the interview series Dare to Start. My name is Alina, and for 30 days I've been interviewing men and women who have dared to start something, maybe something that felt very scary at first. And the goal is to show you that with every big accomplishment, every big goal that you achieve is because you were brave enough to take that first step. Today, I am very happy to introduce you Dr. Javier Carlin. He is the founder of the Hidden Revenue Company. And I met him through a networking event, and I was really impressed on how he presented himself. His company is so cool, and what he does is really interesting that I knew that he had to be here. So, Javier, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. So let's just give a quick introduction about yourself, who you are, because then we're going to dive deeper into your company.
Yeah, so again, super grateful for this opportunity and the interview. It was really great meeting you at the networking event as well. And a little bit about me. So I'm originally a doctor of physical therapy. That's what I did my studies in. I very quickly in my third year of physical therapy school discovered that the path that I had chosen wasn't going to be the path that would allow me to not just be happy and fulfilled in what I was doing, but also financially successful, which I think whether people would like to admit or not is a big part of life. And so fortunately for me, my third year PT school, I started to notice some patterns in the instructors, the people that were around me, and how they were complaining about not getting paid enough and feeling undervalued and not feeling like their work mattered as much, and how it was impacting them in their day-to-day, right? Whether it was being in debt, not being able to fully enjoy their life. And so I started to question everything very early on. And by that point, I was already in my third year of PT school, already $100,000 in debt. I couldn't quit at that point, right? I'm almost done. And so I remember listening to a podcast that day from one of my first mentors. And in the podcast, he basically said this. He said, if you follow the herd, he said, don't follow the herd because the herd will lead you straight to the slaughterhouse. At first, I was like, oh man, like that's pretty intense. And then I started thinking about it a little bit more. And what he meant was, if you do what everyone else is doing, you're going to get what everyone else is getting. And I didn't want that. So that led me on the journey of entrepreneurship, learning and developing my business skills. I invested in a business coach while still in school with no money, because I started to realize that that was the path to not just help a lot of people, but also set yourself up financially. And that started my business and entrepreneurship journey. Long story short, I started a physical therapy practice from there, did that for several years, then started helping other healthcare professionals to get their businesses up and running as well. Did that successfully with my wife for 5 years. And as I've been going through that journey, I realized that with both patients and the professionals that I work with the same resources, the same knowledge, the same support, you'd always have some clients that got amazing results. They showed up, they did the work, they got the results that they were looking for. And you'd always have a portion of them that didn't, a portion of them that either stopped showing up, they were inconsistent, they didn't feel or look as motivated to change their life for the better. And I really started to question a lot there. And so what I found out that the difference maker between those people who succeeded at a very high level and those who didn't was what was going on in here, what was going on in their mind. And that led me on the journey to which I am now here today with the Hidden Revenue Company.
Oh my goodness. That is such a journey, and you're definitely brave. I mean, that's why you're here, because even from just going to college and then understanding, observing and absorbing what was going on, and then being brave enough to even at that point pivot and still find ways, that is very impressive. There are so many things that I want to unpack here, but I think the most important one and the ones that I'm very interested in. So what happened exactly? I know that you described like observations that you were looking in people, but do you remember like a specific time and day that you said, I'm going to create the Hidden Revenue Company, how that started and what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So the moment I decided to do something and to take the next step was the first moment was that third year PT school, right? I remember I was in the hospital cafeteria, and I was having lunch with a few of the other physical therapists and healthcare professionals that were working there. And I overheard a conversation that was happening. And actually my clinical instructor, I believe it was one of them there that started talking about how they were struggling in their relationship with their wife and they were on the brink of divorce. And not to go too far back, but my parents got divorced when I was younger. And from my viewpoint, it was because of finances, right? And having financial struggles. So then going through this entire process to get a safe and secure job so that wouldn't happen to me, and realizing, wait a second, it could also happen here. That's what kind of got me thinking, oh my goodness, I need to do something about this. So that was the initial moment that kind of sparked the fact that I needed to do something different.
Bringing that into the Hidden Revenue Company, like I was mentioning before, I discovered that a lot of what was keeping people from getting the results that they were after was in their mind. And going through my own personal experience, I was always really focused on helping my clients with the strategy, the tactics, telling them exactly what to do, to the point where I would even get frustrated when people wouldn't take action and do the things that I told them to do. And then there was a period of time where I was going through my own internal battles, my own internal stuff. I had gone to traditional methods like talk therapy, et cetera, which was valuable and helpful in its own way. But I felt like I was always venting and talking about my problems without actually getting solutions and moving forward. And so after about 3 years of doing that and not really getting to where I really wanted to be, I ended up discovering and looking for other paths. And I discovered some tools in NLP, which stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, hypnosis, and mental and emotional release. And so that experience and diving deeper into that, I ended up having a full day, what's called a breakthrough session, which is an 8 to 10 hour session that you go deep and release any of the past programming at the subconscious level that's holding you back in some way. And after going through that experience, I was able to essentially condense decades of therapy into a day. So I calculated about 90 hours driving to and from therapy. And in less than a tenth of that, I was able to get much greater benefits. And so that experience led me to realizing, oh my goodness, I need to get this out to more people. More people need to hear about this, because we all have things from our past that are holding us back in some way, whether we realize it or not. A lot of the times we don't, because these things are typically before the age of 7, which most of us don't have memories before that. So I really set out on a mission to help business owners, entrepreneurs, to break through any of the mental blocks that might be holding them back so they can really step into the best version of themselves.
I love it. I love it. And as I hear you talking, going through my experience, because I've done therapy, and I'm always being very self-driven. Like I left my home in Colombia at 17, no money, no English, no family. I ventured to the United States, and everything that has happened to me is because I've had to work for it.
Hmm.
And you're absolutely right. Sometimes I wonder, man, if I would have known things about me way sooner,
Yes.
I don't think it would have taken me 20 years, for example, to be where I am today. And what you're saying about like about 90 hours of therapy that can be condensed into one single day, and especially in today's world where time is the thing that nobody has.
Yeah.
So that is really good. And you and I have this conversation, even for like being a woman, I feel like more than the empowerment or the women's movement, beyond that, I think we're very fundamentally different than men. And I think we hold even more things than men, perhaps.
Interesting. Okay.
I believe so because I mean, I've taught hundreds of students. Very small percentage are men that are more go-getters, like you mentioned, and
Mhm.
then I've had a lot of students that just keep coming, and they're like, "Yes, yes, I want more, more, more." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's act on it." They're like,
Mm.
"Oh, like they are a little bit more of fear there." So
Mm.
I love what you're doing, and I think that's something that I mean everybody needs it, but I think as women too, because we tend to forget things and try to be just very perfectionist, and then in that process
Yeah.
we lose connection.
Absolutely. And perfectionism is one of those things that stems from a deeper issue, right? Because if we look at even perfectionism, which I've been there, I know a lot of my clients have, a lot of people deal with it. What it really is, right, is we're trying to have everything perfect so that if we put something out there, people think it's so good that they're not going to judge us for what we put out. And so it's really a fear of judgment, right? What are other people going to say if this thing isn't quote unquote perfect? And so there's deeper rooted issues that stem from the label of, oh, I'm a perfectionist, right? It's really, no, you're scared of, what if I put this out there and someone says something negative? What does it mean about me? And so those things can really hold people back from helping a lot of people, right? Putting their knowledge, their skill set out there that can really change people's lives. And so it's really important to, number one, uncover what those are, and then number two, not just be aware of them, because being aware is fine, but actually doing something about it.
100%. Because even you mentioned it's people like we have a lot of things even when we are before the age of 7.
Yeah.
And at least back in Colombia, for women, we're like, be careful with your dress, don't go and get dirty, just sit down, be nice. There is like a lot of things
That's
that
where it all
happen
comes from. Yeah.
even at a young age. So I am
Totally.
so happy that you first you're very observant, so you first observed that there was a problem, and you're very curious, so you went and looked for solutions, and now you are here helping a lot of people, which is fantastic. And of course we talk about the good stuff, but you mentioned a few things about your personal journey. But for
Yeah.
somebody that is watching this and maybe they're thinking, oh well, maybe he had it easy, or it seems like he has it all figured out. Has there been any fears, doubts on your process of either starting the hidden revenue company or on your old process being a business owner?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Zero. No, I'm perfect. Everything's good. No. Yeah, right. No, I think starting off, absolutely there were fears and insecurities and imposter syndrome. Am I doing the right thing? Am I stupid for, leaving the profession and doing something completely different after all this education and all this money that I invested? So sure, all those thoughts did come up. And at the same time, I've always been very prone to just taking action and seeing what happens. So I've had a good balance with that. Now, with that in mind, right, as the real internal battles came from growth for me. So as I started to grow, as I started to generate a lot more income, as I started to help a lot more people, I felt this weight of responsibility and a fear of success. And now having to lead a team, having to manage and make sure hundreds of clients were being taken care of. And so this is where I started to, and that included with some not so great personal decisions that I had made from a financial standpoint and losing a lot of money. That started to allow the self-doubt to come in, the decision fatigue, the paralysis by analysis. I started to lose trust in my ability to make decisions. And so that's around the time where I, hired a traditional therapist, and started to at least talk about these things and have these types of conversations. But surely, like during that time, I was self-sabotaging left and right. Like I would say I wanted to do something. I would launch a new product or service. I would host a workshop, and a part of me wasn't going all in. Part of me was holding back. A part of me was kind of throwing a wrench in the whole thing, so it wouldn't be as successful as it could have been, because that additional success meant more responsibility, more clients equaled more problems in my mind at that point, because of all the stories I was telling myself. And so it sounds like problems people might want to have, but they're still problems, and they still can create that resistance in you that causes you to like tear everything down. And so those were some really big personal challenges that I was having, and why I felt so stuck in what I was doing, that I had to look for other solutions, other things that were out there to break me out of this funk, because I was experiencing a lack of clarity, a lack of focus, all these things that were keeping me from stepping into the next level, best possible version of me. So yeah, when you ask if I've been through some stuff, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and well, first of all, thank you so much for being so open and sharing those experiences. I really appreciate it.
Of
And I
course.
also appreciate it also because a lot of people think that maybe there are challenges at the beginning, challenges
Mhm.
even starting a company or changing careers. But I always think like life is just like a roller coaster. It goes up
Yeah.
and down, up and down. And of course, the higher you are, the bigger the drop is.
Mm.
And I appreciate you sharing your story, because you talk about the downs that you had when you had success.
Mhm.
Because in those moments, like you said, the bigger the reach, the bigger the problems.
Yeah.
And so it's good to hear from someone that has been there, that is successful, and that was able to overcome that, just to show us that, hey, just keep doing it, because
Yeah. And
as long as
I
you're
want to be
motivated.
very, very clear too, right? Whether you're in business for yourself or not, if you're working for someone else, you're still going to be dealt with problems. Right. And so the difference is the level of reward and opportunity that you can receive and achieve when you're doing something for yourself. It's that, but both situations, you're going to have problems and challenges that arise. And, I feel like entrepreneurship is one of those things where it's like the best personal development training that you can ever go through. And so
Yeah.
if you really want to become the best version of you, this is the best path.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a solo journey, because you are the boss, or you are that person,
Mhm.
but it's a very challenging, rewarding journey
Yes.
that I think, because you have to be self-motivated, which is hard
Yeah.
to do.
Can be.
So I agree with you. I agree with you. So out of all the experiences that you've had, out of all the learnings that you've had, for anybody that is watching the interview that connects with your story, what is one lesson, one thing that you would like to leave them with, to get them inspired to start a new journey, or if they feel stuck, to kind of look for ways to get out of that funk?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great question. So to answer the first part of it, I would say start before you feel ready. Number one, start before you feel ready. Taking action breeds clarity. So the more, if for those listening, if you've watched, let's say, a Harry Potter movie, I'm sure it's more than one, right? But when they're on the train to Hogwarts, right, the railroad doesn't appear, like every step appears after as the train is going. And so it's very much like in business and in life, you've got to take the first step and continue to take those steps, not knowing 100% of the path, right? So if I'm going from where I'm at now in Tampa to, let's say, California, and you asked me, Javi, when are you leaving? And I say, I'm leaving as soon as I could see the Florida state line, right? Or even the California state line. And when am I going to leave? Never. I'm never going to get to my destination, right? And so you must be willing to take action and move forward without having the entire plan mapped out. And as you take those initial steps and you continue to take the steps and continue to take action, you're going to get feedback that's going to give you clarity on what to do next. So always start before you feel ready. And the second part to that is, as things start to bubble up for you, when I say things start to bubble up for you, whether it's insecurities, feelings of imposter syndrome, fear of rejection, fear of putting yourself out there, all of these things, the first step is always an awareness and an understanding of why they're coming up. So I would challenge you all to write those things down. What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Right? Having a clear awareness of what's coming up. And if you want to go a level deeper, why is this coming up for me? Right? What about this is creating that? And not something that we can do on today's interview. Once you've got that awareness of what's coming up for you, do everything in your power to be able to get rid of it. And I literally mean get rid of your fears, get rid of your limiting beliefs, get rid of any of the things that might be holding you back in some way. There are several tools and techniques that are out there to help you through this, and they do exist. And I wish I had access to these tools, as always, right? Hindsight, what is it? Hindsight 2020. And we all have them. And the sooner that we can get rid of them, the sooner life feels easier and more effortless, because we're able to break through some of these chains that are holding us back. It's kind of like holding on to a backpack full of bricks and running a marathon our entire life because of all the baggage that we're holding on to that many times we don't even know we have. Running a marathon with that and wondering why we're so exhausted going through life, right? Because we have all this conflict inside of us. And as soon as you let go of that heavy bag of bricks and you start moving forward again, you feel lighter, you feel more at peace, more calm, more certain about the future, and you're able to get there faster with less effort. And so once you have that awareness, do whatever you need to do to find someone to help you get rid of those blocks, and life is just going to be so much better, so much more fun.
I agree with you. And as you were talking, I don't know why the image of a tree. So we bought this house at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And it's surrounded by trees.
Mm.
And a friend of mine, he's an expert on trees, so he came because we don't want to chop them, but we're in Florida, so hurricane season. He's like, I want to make sure like that the house is safe.
Yes.
And there is this tree on the side, and he's like, oh, here we have to chop almost everything. Like these branches are not safe, are not healthy. He did all that. My husband comes that day from work, and he's like, but there is nothing on this tree. Like he killed the tree. I will send you a picture after this interview. Maybe I can put it here on the interview.
Yeah.
That was in April when we pruned it. Now is the tree with the most branches, brand new branches, green leaves. It's beautiful, beautiful. So as you were talking about that, I think that's exactly kind of the physical picture or image of it. But sometimes it's hard for us to cut arms or cut like things that we think are so important that we cannot live with them. But if we
Mm.
dare to do that, you can bloom like that tree, or like you're saying, you can get to California faster. You can enjoy the ride. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, just one last point to add to that is the the faster you get there, the longer you get to enjoy it. Right. So if there's anything in your life right now that you feel can get you to your destination faster, do it. Because the only limited resource that we have is time on this earth. Money, it always replenishes. You can get another paycheck 2 weeks from now if you're employed and you have a job. If you're in business, right, you can make no money for 3 weeks and then have a record-breaking week the last week or the last day. It's going to come, but time you'll never get back. And so the faster you get to your goal, the big thing that you want to achieve, let's say it's in this case a financial goal, the longer you get to enjoy it the rest of your life. So anything that could expedite that process for you, figure out a way to do it.
I love it. I actually have never heard that. And I think that's exactly what I needed to hear today. So I absolutely love this. Thank you. Well, we can stay here
Yeah.
and talk, and like Dr. Javier can like drop us a whole bunch of gold nuggets of information. But the good news is that you can be in touch with him on the wonderful world of the internet. So Javier, how can they connect with you?
Yes, of course. So I am more active actually now on LinkedIn. So you can just look up Dr. Javier Carlin on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram and Facebook as well. So feel free, if you want to connect with me on your favorite platform, send me a message. Let me know what was one takeaway or insight you got from this interview. I'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to go to my website, hiddenrevenue.co, there's going to be tons of resources on there, from different private podcasts, workshops that I'll be hosting, different mindset tips and hacks for you to be able to allow yourself to get to that next level. And so either connect with me on one of those platforms or head over to the site and check out the resources we have there.
All right, so go into that, because like he said, the faster you overcome your challenges, the longer you get to enjoy your life. Thank you so much, Javier, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching the interview. Quick reminder, Women Who Market, we are an e-learning community that helps women connect with the most important market there has ever been, which is you. So we offer different courses, different events, and right now we are doing the Dare to Start challenge in order to these interviews. It's very simple. If you have a business idea or you want to grow your business, you tell us what it is, we give you quick marketing lessons, and then we help you take the first step and have a plan that you feel comfortable with so that you can grow your business. So the information is here. I will also add all the information for Javier, and I'll see you in the next interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much.